Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of my Create This Book series by me and Moriah Elizabeth. Today I'm going to be doing 4 more prompts in the book. Before I begin, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's see what we can come up with. If I sound a little bit weird today, I am recovering from a cold, but let's get into it. The first prompt for the day was this, and I instantly saw it and immediately was like, no, like absolutely not. This looks overwhelming and obviously impossible to do all at once or even in 2 days. It's a week thing, so I'm just going to skip that for now and move on to the quick sketches. So I grabbed my pencil because sketch to me means pencil, and then I started off sketching everything out. So this is sped up times 2, so it took 30 seconds for each drawing in this video, but I just went ahead and started sketching out different things, each trying to take only a minute. So I started off by sketching out an eye. That's just like the classic go-to for my brain, and I think most artists out there, you just like start drawing eyes for some reason. And then after I finished drawing out an eye in only a minute, which is actually a lot less time, I then moved on to just draw another classic doodle thing, which is a flower. So I actually had a little extra time on this one because, you know, a flower is pretty simple. I tried to make the flower a little more detailed by adding in different lines and designs in the petals and in the center, but then after I got done drawing the flower, it was then time to move on to the next drawing, which I wanted to try to do something a little more complex, so I decided to try and draw a snow globe. I've been kind of on a snow globe drawing kick. If you couldn't tell, like, I made a sticker for it. I did a snow globe in my series on my shorts where I'm drawing 25 drawings for Christmas, and then I also did it in my long form video where I used Ohuhu markers to make a drawing. So I've been drawing snow globes a lot lately, so I felt like I could maybe do it in 30 seconds, well, a minute, but it was pretty difficult and I could not get a lot of detail in there. So then it was time to move on to something else, and this was even more detailed, so I don't know why I thought that this would be a good idea to try this. But then I tried to go ahead and draw a person. I wanted to draw a girl in a Santa hat. I felt like that would just be cute and Christmassy, but it was very, very difficult to do in just a minute, and I did not finish it or get it done how I wanted to. But after I did it once, I was like, maybe I could do this faster and better. So I decided to try it once more on the page next to it and just do kind of a bigger sketch and see if I could get more done in a minute. So I started off by drawing out the face, putting on the eyes. I was trying to do really just simple things to just sell the point but not overdo it because, you know, limited time. And then I just kept on going, and it turned out just about as well as all of the rest of the sketches. Like, it looks like it only took me a minute, which is not really the vibe that I'm going for, but you know, I did my best in the time that I was given, literally. So, you know, we'll take it for what it is. And then after that, I was done with this page. I did as many quick sketches as I could, and now it's time to move on to the next prompt of the book, which I was much more excited about. Even though that one was fun, I was excited to make a growth chart. I was very inspired by those little drawings on the side, so I grabbed a whole bunch of little pieces of paper and had a plan in mind, grabbed some pastel colors and started coloring in the papers. For each little sheet of paper, I decided to pick a different color that I showed you before and just color in the whole thing that solid color. So I chose purple, pink, green, yellow, and blue for my colors, and it was kind of creating a pretty color pattern in the back as well, you know, kind of fun, but I couldn't really use that for anything. But anyway, once I'd gotten all of my colors completely colored in, then I was left with all of these sheets of paper, and now I went ahead and drew in different stages of plant growth. So I started off with a seed and just kind of used a detailed pen to draw in some things, and I wanted this to be very like doodle-like and sketchy, so that was the vibe I was going for. And then next up was to draw a little sproutling, and obviously none of them are to size. Like, that seed is way big, okay, way big. But anyway, then I went ahead and just continued with the sapling. Next up was whatever comes after a sapling, maybe like a sprout or something, if you will. And then that one was blue, and I just colored in a whole bunch of different leaves like a plant was starting to form. Next up, I wanted to draw a plant budding and starting to blossom. That way it looked like there was progress being made and the flower that was going to bloom was developing. And then finally was a flower. Now, is this the process of a sunflower? I really don't know, but that's what I was going for. So now here is the sunflower in full bloom. So I saved yellow for the sunflower because I felt like that would be most fitting. And then once it was completely done with leaves and everything and it was in full bloom, then I went ahead and placed them all into the book. And I felt like it needed something a little more, so I went ahead and put a quote in there, and it just says, "Growth is a process." I feel like that would be cute to add to the different stages of the plant growing, and I really love how this page turned out. It's pretty simple, but super cute. And now it's time for my favorite prompt of the day, which was to create a collection. So the first thing that popped into my head was an art collection. So I thought it would be really cool if I had different drawings of the same drawing, just in different settings. So let me explain a little bit more. I started off by drawing out a cityscape, and then I went ahead and traced that same cityscape again, and then I was left with two of the same thing. I grabbed my outliner and then I outlined everything. So right now I'm just left with two of the same exact drawings, but then I'm going to use color to make them different. I want to put one in sunset and one in the nighttime. So that's going to be my little series of art collections, and who knows, maybe one day I'll add a whole bunch more cityscapes to this as well, but for now we're starting with two. Does two count as a collection? I'm not really sure, but in this case, it will say that it does. It took a lot of time to finally sketch everything out and make both pieces of paper look the same with the fine liner, but once I finally had, it was time to take even more time drawing out individual windows for each of the buildings. This was a very time-consuming process because I had to do it for each page, and it was a lot of work, but I think it was worth it to add in some extra detail, and then we snapped quick so it was completely done and ready to be colored in. So this is the one I'm starting with, and this one is going to be sunset themed. So I grabbed some warm colors, some pinks and oranges and reds to really make this feel like a sunset. I also incorporated some yellow to really add in some highlights to the drawings. So I started off with the sky and tried to just blend in a sunset, but it wasn't too blended, but I decided I would use some clouds to kind of cover that up. Plus I kind of like the sketchy look of it all, so I decided that I was fine with it and we would just keep rolling with it. I then added in some clouds, and then it was time to finally start working on the buildings. I decided my light source would come from the top right, so I added in some yellow for highlights first to map all of those out so I didn't cover them up with other colors, and then I went ahead and went darkest to lightest colors. That way they would blend a little bit more, and that way I wouldn't be confused about where my light sources were, like I said before. So then I just went ahead and colored everything in, and then I decided to add in some gold gel pen details to really make it look like the sun was reflecting onto the city buildings. And once I had done that, this drawing was completed, and I thought it was looking so cool. I loved the color palette of this, and I'm very excited to do the nighttime one. So then I basically just repeated the process, but this time only using purples. I thought about possibly adding in blues, but I felt like the purples I had were really warm, so I didn't want to add in a lot of cool blues to the drawing because I felt like that would kind of mess up the peaceful kind of chill vibes that I was going for. So I decided to use only purple instead. I again mapped out my light source first and then went ahead in with some darker colors and filled in all of the in-betweens along the way. I was having a lot of fun using all of these purples to create this drawing, and I really loved the use of colors for these, and it's crazy how much of a different feel they each have based on the color alone, since otherwise they're like the exact same drawing. So then I went ahead and added in some clouds for this one by starting off with the darkest shade of purple and then going ahead and adding in some lighter shades on top of that to make them look light and fluffy. And then it was time to add in the gold gel pen details for this one. I added in a moon and light through the windows as well, and then this one was also completed. I love how these turned out so much that I'm also going to make these into prints on my shop, so if you're interested, I'll have them linked in the comments and the description. But anyway, here's how this one turned out, and I love it so much, especially the gold accents, and I just love the mood and the vibes of the entire thing. And then it's time for the last prompt of the day, which is to create a refusal. So I can refuse the rules on any page, which made me so happy, and I knew exactly where I was going to put this. Like, this could not have worked out more perfectly. I went back to that prompt where I needed to record the week, and I was like, absolutely not, and now I can be justified in not doing it. So let's take a look back at the first prompt of the day, which was that one, but we refused it, and then it was the quick sketches where I had a minute for each page sketch, and I just sketched out a whole bunch of different things that look like they only took a minute to sketch. And then it was the next prompt, which I had a lot of fun with. I love the pastels. This page feels very spring, even though it's the dead of winter, but I love it so much, and I love the little growth is a process quote. I just think this page is really pretty, and it definitely reminds me of spring and happiness and growing new things. And then here's the next prompt, where we created a little mini collection of 2 drawings, one sunset and one nighttime. I think these turn out so cool, and again, I'm going to make prints of these, so they'll be linked in my description and in the comments if you're interested in shopping. And then we have the last prompt, which was the refusal, which loops us back around so we can't get stuck in an infinite loop. I'll just show you my favorite one more time. Let me know which one was you guys' favorite. This was definitely mine. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!